Hi everyone, welcome to week 1 of English 97. So this video is going to walk you through the assignments for this week, and you just saw my dog's tail, and some tips on writing paragraphs. I know that having a paragraph assignment might seem like review for some of you if you're recently out of a high school writing course. It might though be a good refresher, and also if you've been out of school for a few years, or if it's just been kind of a while since you really thought about what a paragraph is structured like, I think this will be a good kind of get into our course. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, my trusty sidekick Suede is here, always lurking. All right, so I will post this PowerPoint to Blackboard. So this week, I just want to kind of talk to you about the writing process. And this is something that our readings this week will also talk about, and we'll go into a little detail here, but also make sure that you're doing the readings on Blackboard. So first things first, the assignments we have for this week. So I know this looks like a long list, but as an online course, I think the best way to kind of keep you on track and to help you work towards the larger assignments that we have is to break it into chunks. And these are small pieces that should only take you probably, I'm hoping, 20 minutes roughly. So the first thing you're going to want to do is the discussion board number 0. I'm calling it 0 because it's like kind of pre-start, where you just want to kind of introduce yourself. So the next thing you'll do is go through the readings for this week. You want to read page 1 through 16, I believe, of Use What Works, and then also watch the TED Talk, The Power of Self-Acceptance. So I will warn you, the speaker in this TED Talk is British, and it takes a minute to kind of get used to his accent, but his spoken word I think is really powerful, and I think it's just a cool way to kind of think about who you are as a person or a student or a writer and kind of get into this course. Then you're going to want to do our discussion board number 1, which relates to the paragraph assignment, which I'll go over here. And then finally, I want you to sign up for a one-on-one conference. So all of this can be found on Blackboard on my PowerPoint here. So again, you watched my course tour, or if you haven't yet, take a minute to do that. But our Blackboard course, you can find all of these assignments under Essays and Assignments, and then this week 1 and 2 folder. So you'll see here the link to our conference sign up is here. That discussion board 0, the instructions are here. The readings for week 1, Use What Works, and the video, the quiz on Use What Works, and then finally discussion board 1. So just go in order in this folder here and you're gonna be fine. So the couple things I wanted to walk you through, the next page on my PowerPoint here is to walk through the discussion board. So you can get there one of 2 ways. You can either click here in this week 1 folder, which I find to be the easiest. So if I click on discussion board 0, it'll take me here. There is an example post that I've posted. You can read that example here. You see that I've put some pictures in here and just answered the prompts. If you click create thread, it'll give you the instructions, which I'm calling this our Walmart introductions. If you were to take a stroll around Walmart, tell me 3 things that you would buy that somehow describe who you are. Don't be afraid to think out of the box. How do these items represent you, or how you see yourself? You can also include images if you like. And then make sure that you respond to 2 classmates after that you find that have some similarity to you. The post here, so if you wanted to respond to mine, you could click here and then scroll down and click reply. So I know I went through that a little quickly, but the instructions are either, like I said, where it says discussion board here, you can click on discussion board 0, or under Essays and Assignments, and then whatever week we're in, you can see the instructions here. So click around. If you do have questions though, let me know, but you're not gonna hurt it. So just, keep clicking. Okay, so the main sort of topic for our course this week is the writing process, and then also a little review of a paragraph. So the first thing I want to do is ask you all, when you think of a writing process, these are like the steps you might take as a writer. What comes to mind? What does that look like for you? Okay, and I have linked here a video from the Excelsior Owl that has some students reflecting on their own writing. So I don't think this will play as I'm screen sharing, But I do encourage you to stop this video here, hit pause, and then click on the link to the Excelsior Owl. It's a very quick video. It's only about 2 minutes long, but kind of ask yourself how your writing process compares to these students. I'm actually here. I'll just try and play it here, and hopefully it works.
One thing that I continue to struggle with.
All right, so I won't play the whole video here, but hopefully these students' responses give you an idea of what I mean by the writing process. Although we haven't talked about it yet, you can kind of understand how these students are thinking back on what they have learned and also what they struggle with. So I think it's a good kind of way to start thinking about what do you want to learn or what do you currently struggle with. So when we talk about the writing process, this literally means just the way that you write. So think to yourself, say I give you a writing prompt and I say, okay, write about this. You might be one of those people that sits down and starts writing. You might be one of those people that makes a list before you write. You might be one of those people who stares at a blank piece of paper or a blank document and thinks, why do I have to do this? So all of those are very real and very true ways that the writing process might be for you right now. So what this course focuses on is to give you steps that work typically for successful writers. Not always, and not always in this order, but essentially when we talk about the process that we have for writing, we talk about this kind of cycle. Okay, so I want you to think of it not as a line, so not as like step 1, 2, 3, 4, but as more of a circle. And this is what we call recursive. Something that maybe you do your drafting first, and then you go back and do a little bit of invention stuff. Or maybe you revise while you're drafting, or you draft while you revise. Or maybe you edit while you pre-write, but see, these steps aren't always kind of linear or sequential. They really occur kind of as a cycle. It can be messy, essentially. I know some of us are looking for these clear-cut, here's what I have to do when I write, sit down and write a paper and I'll be successful every time. But honestly, that's not how writing works, and I think that's where our frustration comes from. Maybe you feel like you're just not confident, or you just don't know what the right steps are, or maybe you feel like you get stuck at a certain point and that you can't go anywhere from there. So what we're gonna work on this semester is practicing this process, these steps that have worked for successful writers, but also figuring out what works for you. So think about what you struggle with, what you wanna do better, and that is what I want you personally to focus on in our course, okay? I don't want you all to be the same. You won't all have the same goals, and your writing's not gonna look the same. But that's okay, and that's, I think, the beauty of language, because you can be a successful writer and not look the same as the person next to you. I can be a successful writer and you can be a successful writer too. It takes confidence more than anything. So the first assignment that we're gonna work on this week, I'm calling you as a student. So this is just a paragraph in length. Essentially, a paragraph is a chunk of writing that has a clear beginning, middle, and end. So an essay, which we'll talk about more in a couple weeks, is made up of paragraphs. So I think it's a good idea to just kind of take a step back and review a little bit about what makes a good paragraph, so that when we start working on essays, you have a really solid understanding of like, okay, I know how to do this one part, now I can do that several times. All right, so the assignment sheet I've listed here, and you can also find it on Blackboard. But essentially, in one paragraph, we're gonna work on describing yourself as a student or how you feel about school/college in general. It's okay to be honest. I want to learn more about you. So if you're one of those people that's like, man, I really hate going to class and, I don't know, reading books and being in school, that's okay. Talk about that. Tell me about your major. Tell me why you came back to college. Talk to me about what you're hoping to do in the future. Any of that is fine. The important part here is that this is going to be one paragraph. So a perfect length is going to be somewhere between 6 and 8 sentences. Could be longer, could be a little shorter. But usually your topic sentence, the first sentence of your paragraph, is going to tell me what your paragraph is about. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So basically, I have linked here another website that could be very helpful in thinking about a paragraph. But a strong paragraph usually has 3 parts: beginning, topic sentence, middle, the body, those 4 or 5 sentences in the middle, and then the conclusion. This is the final sentence that summarizes your point. So let's talk about topic sentences for a second. Topic sentences give your main idea. I often call this the what and the so what. So tell me what you're writing about. Don't give anything away too much. You want to catch the reader's attention and you want it to be clear and easy to follow. So let's look at a couple examples here. Okay, so let's choose the most effective topic sentence in this first pair. 1A says, this paper will discuss the likelihood of the Democrats winning the next election. B says, to boost their chances of winning the next election, the Democrats need to listen to public opinion. Okay, so both of these have a what, the next election, and a so what, Democrats winning. Now I gotta ask myself, which is more interesting to me? What would you think? For me, I think choice B is a little more interesting. I don't think you really need to have this paper will say, but they both do have a clear what and a so what. Just for time's sake, I'm gonna skip these other examples, but take a second, pause the video, and see what you would choose. I will say this last one. Rap music is produced by untalented individuals with oversized egos. A great topic sentence. I kind of disagree though. All right, so I also have an example from a student who's written about this before. So they decided to write their paragraph about reading and writing. You can do a similar topic, but you don't have to. So let's look at this. This student says, I've always thought that if one was a good reader, they would automatically be a good writer as well. I, on the other hand, proved to myself this was not true. I can read all day long and not struggle one bit, or even get the slight bit confused. Reading always makes sense to me. Reading takes me to a whole other world. Writing has the opposite effect. I struggle to even come up with one sentence to write. I feel as though I can't make a story make sense, and I not only confuse the readers, but I confuse myself as well. I found that good readers aren't always good writers. Okay, so as a paragraph, this is everything we're looking for. If I asked you, what's the topic sentence? What are they writing about? Where do I find that? Hopefully, you would say this first sentence here. They have a what, talking about writing, and a so what, that they thought, being a good writer meant you were a good reader, and vice versa. Then the middle, that's the topic sentence. Then you can see this last sentence, their conclusion, really sandwiches that, really comes back to that idea. I found that good readers aren't always good writers. And then the middle are more kind of examples and expansion on their topic, sorry. I don't actually know if this was a female student. So that's kind of a crash course in writing a paragraph, but I do want to encourage you, that link that I'm also going to post to our discussion board for effective means to writing a paragraph has lots of good exercises to kind of help you work with topic sentences. So if you're not sure or you want more practice, please use that link. Other reminders, sign up for a conference so I can meet with you one-on-one. And then there's also Success Center links I will share with you as well. So apologies, this was a longer video. I'll talk to you soon.